52 decibels, 60, 80, 90.
Let's see what this baby can do, right?
Put on a Rihanna soundtrack.
Yeah.
Really hit the lyrics.
Yeah, it's funny because I just did one with my daughter, and
Nice.
this is actually I did the first one with her, and the second one we just did, and she said, "You didn't introduce me the first time," and then the second time we started talking, and she, "You didn't introduce me again." So
Oh man.
I got to introduce your ass.
Yeah.
But I'll let you do what your background is. So
Yeah.
I will probably periodically stop it just because I'm worried about OBS crashing once in a while.
OBS. What's OBS?
It would be ideal if I don't have to touch shit.
Nice. It's got animations and transitions and
That's all
really
they.
cool.
Yeah, these tracking cameras are all over the place.
Man.
So it's like you got that and that. Those two share a line, and I've got some switching back and forth and zooming, and then all
Got
these
all the
cameras
angles.
all around. They actually are all AI trackers, and there you go. We finally got you. I was worried because one of the things that worried me. It like trains on who you are, and so when I set things up, if someone's sitting in a chair, they all track on them. So that's why I came over here a little bit to make sure it got me a little bit, because otherwise it's like, oh, your ass.
Yeah.
All right, how do you pronounce your
Poor
last name? Is
camera.
Cayer?
Cayer.
Cayer. All right, Devon Cayer.
Yeah.
Finally got
I
your
know.
tail in here. It's been months. We've been.
I was dying.
Well, I mean, we schedule on and off, then you've been on and off sick, and then just a ton of shit going on, right?
Yeah.
But welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. This is cool.
Yeah.
I'm jamming out.
Yeah, so this is what I'll probably do is after the cast, I hope not to edit anything, right?
Nice.
Just one big stream, maybe a hook at the beginning or something.
Yeah.
But I'll use AI to extract out the dialogue and then have a summary of it, and then sometimes I put it in there. But I always try to put a music clip at the end in the same studio.
Yeah.
So people think, oh, we had this little podcast, and then a band came in.
Yeah. Well, I'll whip the tambourine back out.
Yeah, you have a surprisingly good voice.
Thanks.
You play guitar.
Yeah. I play guitar for a while. Since I was 16. Started off with Sublime.
Uh-huh.
And a little Led Zeppelin action. Going to California. Tried that one. Little Wing, Stevie Ray. And now it's just the Lumineers. I'm in my downshift.
Well, so when you're playing, do you actually sing or do you just play?
I try.
Yeah.
It's really hard though.
Yeah.
I'm actually better at not singing songs, but I'm better at like a Weird Al Yankovic type of song. I just like make it up on the fly. So it's usually about like my daughter playing soccer in the house. Those are usually pretty good. Or like my wife making dinner.
Yeah.
And
it's tough to actually both do stuff with your body and sing, especially if it's somewhat arrhythmic. If you're not singing, like aside from like Phil Collins and one or two other drummers, Ringo is a terrible singer, right? But when you play, it's almost impossible to sing.
Yeah.
And
you got to zen out.
Yeah.
You just got to feel it.
Separate.
Yeah.
Separate. Well, you're a multidisciplinary guy.
Trying.
Yeah, clearly, actually. So tell me, where were you as a kid? How did you become who you are today?
Little ADD, little sports, little competitive edge. I think it's good to not be good at anything, and then it like really like sets the bar on like where you have to get to be good. Because if everyone's like really good around you, then you're just like, well, I want to play basketball, but those guys are better than me. I got to be as good as them. Or like some really smart kid that's like making robots in his garage. It's like, I got to do that. Like, what's he doing over there? Someone that's like, ripping down their fence and like rebuilding it and carpentry from scratch. I'm like, I got to do that. So then it's just like,
Oh, so where were you at that time that you were pretty much unskilled in everything as an infant?
As a newt. No, I was always like really, really competitive.
No, I meant, were you here in California?
I was in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Were you down here in Southern California?
SoCal. Yeah, I haven't left. It's hard to leave once you're in Southern California. So I grew up in Long Beach, or actually Huntington. I was born in Fountain Valley, Then I was in Huntington Beach. Then I was this place called Los Alamitos. Nobody really knows where that is, so I just say Long Beach and get associated with like Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, and that's where I get my style from, obviously. And then just kidding. And then I went to UCLA, and then just put out a bunch of applications for grad school, and then came down to San Diego and
UCSD.
Scripps Research.
Yeah.
No, we were part of that.
Well, actually, so it explains a lot because if you're not good at stuff as a kid in California, where people are generally great at everything, I mean, you just had a huge bar to have to leap over.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and so you were doing that all throughout your life. Then, so UCLA, what was your undergrad? What?
So I did chemistry, because in high school I was like, nanotechnology was coming out. Like everyone's like, nanotechs can be really cool. And I was like, yeah, making like little nano robots would be hot. But then like none of that ever happened. It's all just chemistry. And so then there was this guy his name is Stuart Cantrell. And he had like this crazy organic chemistry class. And I always thought OChem was just like food. I was like, OChem isn't like that interesting. It's just like food and carbohydrates. And then took this class, and he was just like whipping molecules together with like all these like electron pushing reactions and all this stuff. And I was
very mechanistic based?
Super mechanistic.
I love that.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Because then it's like it's art. You have to like visualize nature in the universe, and you're like, what is going on right now? Like, why does that happen? And then you have to like have like this deep, you form like this deep intuitive understanding of like what's going on. Yeah. And then I was hooked. I was like, man, that's really cool. I want to do that. And then emailed him in like freshman year, and he was like, yeah, I'm in this group called the Stoddart Group. We do like supermolecular chemistry. I was like, that's cool. I want to do that. And no idea what I was doing. I think I flooded the lab at one point. But I didn't even realize.
That was undergrad? Yeah.
It was undergrad. And then
I better get it up because it reminded me of a story before I forget. When I was at undergrad, we had this field session, and I was a big you have to do preps. We had to do like 8 preps, like in a real live industrial setting. And I was like, he kept saying no one could finish all these preps in the 6 or 8 weeks that we had. And I'm like, bullshit. So I'm running shit in parallel. Yeah. And so there were a couple cases where I had H2S gas that I needed bubble through reaction. And I split it. I'm running 2 different reactions. And this is a very important lesson I learned, that one was running at higher temp than the other. There's a pressure differential. I go to lunch, come back, the whole lab is filled with H2S.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So they made me go in there, and that's egg smelling. I would smell like eggs for like a month.
No way.
So I learned my lesson about parallel synthesis. You might want to attend your reactions. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. But you don't really realize like the chaos that can ensue when you're setting up a reaction. I think it was like this crazy reflux reaction with like DCM, and I was just boiling stuff and then bubbling stuff through and like collecting stuff. And I was like a freshman, I had no idea what I was doing. And I think I like glued it on, but I didn't like, like the little clamps for the reflux. I didn't like add it that time. And then I got like a phone call at like 2 a.m. that the lab was flooded. And it was on the 5th floor. So then I went to the 4th floor and the 3rd floor and the 2nd floor. They didn't know if it was me, but it was probably me because like I'm the freshman. But then I was not in that lab for a little bit.
You got your first suspension.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, maybe you got to go take some classes. And then I took some classes, and then